What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great night. Talked to some of you a little bit earlier, live, little Zach Bond signing. So, oh, hell yeah. And, well, perfect timing. We're about to get into the defense in this free agency series. Went through the entire offense, quarterback, all the skill positions. The offensive line was last night. Go check those bad boys out. Going through, looking at each position, all of the free agents, what the Eagles have at each position, under contract, reserve future guys, and their free agents. And then, of course, the top fits at each of these positions. So I'm going to try my best to get this all out before free agency begins on the 14th. 12th is the tampering period. So any thoughts you guys have, anything on your mind, love to hear from you, but not a live video. Whenever you're watching it, I'm always down to talk some birds, talk some shop, whatever's on your mind. Let's effing go. But we're going to start it off in the cap space. I always like to show you. Now, this one, it's going to continually change, as I always tell you throughout this offseason. But we just signed Zach Bond, and once we get the cap numbers, we'll know what that does and what exactly Saquon Barkley's cap numbers are with this extension. I will give you all that update. But just know that we still have over like 15, 16, 17-ish million, dependent how I feel Zach Bond's contract will be. We'll see. But I'll keep you up to date with that. Just know that we still have money to do whatever we please. We talked about O-line last night, Mekhi Becton. So let's get into the interior defensive line here. And, you know, there's obviously a very important piece here that I would love to see come back. And, you know, you've got yourself Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis here. Yeah. And Moro Ajomo, Thomas Booker. You brought in Byron Young, who got hurt, but I think – you know, still promising future. Gabe Hall. We talked about him pre-draft last year. I like this kid. So you never know. But Milton Williams, definitely going to earn himself some money. I would love to see him back with the Eagles. But, hey, man, anything can happen. We shall see. But the team could get crazy, and I would hate that. But you still have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Ajomo, Booker Young. They're under contract. So the reserve future signing, he'll be here this offseason to compete, see if he can beat anyone out. But Ajomo looked real good. So when we drafted him, I compared him to Milton Williams in that, like, what position he played, that pass rushing interior defensive lineman. So maybe Ajomo is the answer. We shall see. Now, remember, just like the last few years, I like to show you this just so you know where, and it's not, I don't think, too confusing to people anymore, but how I list people, interior D linemen, they're the D tackles, nose tackles. They'd be considered defensive ends in those odd fronts. But you got your edge guys who are D ends, considered outside linebackers in those odd fronts. But just to show you the difference of what you've got going on in the actual linebackers, so nobody's confused about who is where. And we'll get into edge tomorrow. Then on Saturday, we will get into the linebackers Sunday, corners Monday, safeties, and then you'll have tampering period Tuesday. We'll keep it rocking and rolling. But let's jump right into this. You see what's going on with the Eagles. So Milton Williams, again, a big piece. Let's take a look at all of these free agents and then talk about the fits for the Eagles in their situation. So as you can see here, these are the exclusive rights guys, 2 years or less accrued. And, if they get tendered, they either sign that league minimum contract or they don't play. So if they're not tendered, they become unrestricted. We'll see what happens with these guys. Former Eagles there, Bruce Hector, Raekwon Williams. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with those guys. And then on the defensive side of the ball with restricted interior D linemen, you have Chris Williams, Carter, Horn, Hinish. So these are guys with 3 years or less, and, they get placed with the first round, second round, original round, or the right of refusal tenders. So if another team tries to sign them, they can get draft picks back. They can try to match offers. So we'll see if anybody is good enough for that to happen, if they get tendered, become unrestricted, whatever. But here are the actual unrestricted guys. And remember, Blackson is the lowest paid last year, and then you just keep going up. And then there is another page. But you've got a lot of options here. You've got a lot of, older veterans there. Mario Edwards, William Golston, Urban's there, Quentin Jefferson. You see Milton Williams there. Deshaun Williams, not paid very much, but he's about to. But you got Jordan Phillips, Day, Watkins, Gallimore. A lot of, veteran pieces here that I think, still could be very serviceable and definitely could be Eagles. Didn't have a lot of time. I wanted to do a top 10. Only have a top 4 for you. But look, time is just of the essence for me. I had a lot going on today. Just finally got back home. I just want to take a shower, but I had to put this show out, so I'm going to record it. Maybe I'll put it out after. We'll see. But here's the list, and then here is the second page here. Javon Hargrave being the highest paid last year. Obviously, we know who he is. Draymond Jones there, Rankins, DJ Jones, BJ Hill, Kinlaw. There's a lot of talent here. DeMarcus Walker, I like. Jerron Reed, really talented. Now, for me, looking at this, I think a lot of good free agents there. And could have easily made a top 10. A lot of those guys, if we sign them, I'd be excited about it. But going for a top 4 here and going to talk about, why I like these guys. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. You got a top 4, top 5, top 10, top 3, whatever it is. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But let's jump right into this. And with the Eagles, Milton Williams, again, I think for me, you continue to look in the draft, but you have a Jomo, you have Thomas Booker, you have Young, you have Gabe Hall. I think you already have pieces here. Gabe Hall kind of that same mold of a Jomo, Milton Williams. So we'll see if you can develop these guys and have something here already. But if not, maybe you do look to free agency, and maybe Milton Williams' asking price is too high. So maybe I think you could definitely get Onwuzurike. 10 mil would maybe even be high, but these guys are getting paid. So I don't know, man. That's where I put him at 6'3", 290, only 27 years old, be his 5th season here. Had 10 starts, 3 sacks, 13 quarterback hits, 45 pressures there, 28 tackles, a tackle for a loss, forced fumble. Look, I don't think he probably could get paid $6 million, to be honest, but who knows? Edge is very important, and I think this kid still, got a lot of talent at 27 years old to be unlocked. So in the right system, you see his PFF grade, 69.4. That's pretty decent. So a good young talent where I think you put as part of the rotation, interior wise. But if you're paying somebody, you want them to be the starter. Again, for me, I would look to the draft. But this guy is good against the run. He's decent in pass rushing. So he can do both. I really like him, and he's the same size as Milton Williams. That's one of the reasons, I'm looking for that type of, but also, other things as well. And let's talk about those. So Teair Tart, this is more of a guy that can play that nose tackle interior-wise where, Jordan Davis doesn't have to play. And he doesn't play every down, but this is a guy in Teair Tart where he actually provides pass rush, and it's not to say that Jordan Davis, you saw him get some sacks, but you always hear the media losing their minds. Oh, why isn't he getting 10 sacks a year? And it's like, well, dude, he's a nose tackle. So, Jordan Davis is a monster. It's hard to match, his size, but he's decent at pass rushing. But for me, I like Teair Tart. And he didn't have any starts last year, but he did get a sack. He, got some snaps here. He's 28 years old, going to be his 7th season. So if you want to bring in a veteran, I think, at a decent price tag, you might have to pay him a little bit. But this guy would be great in the rotation and, good for competition in the offseason. Wouldn't be against it. But there's another Charger I would much rather have. And this dude, 85.1 PFF grade. You take that stuff with a grain of salt, but that's pretty dang good. And 5'11", 310 pounds. This is a beast. This is a dude that really could back up Jordan Davis. And nobody, again, Jordan Davis is like 336 pounds, like 6'6". So unreal. But you could definitely use Poona Ford, and he started every game last year. A few sacks in there, quarterback hits, pressures, tackles for loss, passes deflected. But look, this is one of those veteran pieces where you don't have to pay too much. And I think, you look to continue to get younger. And I don't think you have to spend too high of a pick unless somebody really good is there. But I like what we have at that position. But number 1 on this list, Milton Williams himself, dude. Why not just try to bring him back? And he might be getting around 20 mil, and he should. If Osa Odigizua from the Cowboys can get that, Milton Williams is probably about to get paid. So I don't think that he's going to re-sign with the Eagles. I just really don't. Only 25 years old. We talked about this before the season, last year. Get this kid signed before he, gets himself paid. And I think he's getting himself paid here. But a great season. Who cares what PFF's grade is? This dude, 7 starts, but he got, to impact every game. He was out there doing his thing. Had 6 sacks, 6 hits, 40 pressures, 19 tackles, 7 for loss, and a forced fumble with a pass deflected. So this dude, even with not seeing full-time reps, he was able to ball. We talked about it when we drafted him. Love this kid. That was the video, and how he picked him, and that guy's all pissed off, whatever. But to me, I think Milton Williams, getting him back and still paying him, and again, you would have to give him one of those contracts where, you're back loading a lot of that stuff with void years. You can make it happen. If you think he's more important than getting, and I know a lot of people, oh, Myles Garrett. It's like, well, why not spend it on a guy like Milton Williams and then draft an edge to go with Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt and then pick up a cheaper option at edge? And we're going to talk about some edge tomorrow. So for you tonight, keep tuning in. We'll talk about every single position here leading into free agency. Holy hell, next week. Let's go. But hope you guys are all having a great week so far. And, well, I guess it's actually like 9 days, so not next week technically, but whatever, you get it. 14th, be ready. But on the 12th, that's when the tampering begins. We'll see all kinds of stuff. And, again, you see stuff happening now, and you will continue to. That's how it works. And I will keep you up to date with everything you need to know. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Share this bad boy. Subscribe down below. But if you need anything else, you can always reach out. Always here for you guys as you are for me. Have yourselves a great rest of your night. But until next time, I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there, and as always, go Birds!